The thing I love the most about ultra running are the people. It's the community. People are fantastic. People are positive. They're cheering. They're there to help you, not to compete against you. And today, I'm going to walk you through some what I would call the unwritten rule of ultra running. Nobody is born an ultra runner. The first time you line up, you probably have some experience, and it's funny because there's different background as to how you get there. I think there's a lot of people that come from road running or marathon running. There's a lot of hikers also, maybe some triathletes in there, and that's totally cool. It's a very welcoming place, and we might come with different expectations on how to treat others. The first thing that most people notice is that you don't behave the same way at an Ironman than you would behave in an ultra marathon. My name is Simon, and through my experience ultra running, I've found some kind of unwritten rules or ways you're expected to behave that will just make this community better in general. Obviously, these are not strict laws. They're more like guidelines a little bit. But really, that's what makes the community fantastic, is to be aware of what you're doing and how to treat others. And similarly, that's how you can be expected to be treated. And what you'll notice, hopefully, through these rules is actually, that sounds pretty good, right?
One of the reasons why this topic is particularly important right now is that I think the sport is at a junction right now. It's growing rapidly and we don't want it to lose its charm. And one of the first things you will notice as you get into ultra running is that you might come in thinking this is an individual sport. You only have your name and your time. But it's a team sport, and I don't only mean that, for example, like a Formula 1 driver and he has his crew. That's true also for ultra running, but also it's not so much, at least for normal people like us, it's not so much a competitive sport. So yes, there are other people around you, but they're part of your experience, they're part of your adventure, and likewise, you're part of their adventure. And I think it's important that you keep aware of this, that you keep aware that to keep this sports clean and for everyone to have a good experience, you need to realize the impact that you have on other runners, on volunteers, on the trail, on the environment, even on race organization and just the scene in general. So
all you have to do is not shop at Walmart anymore. If you want it to go away, all it takes is a little self-control and personal responsibility.
Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya.
So just key thing to remember is that this is a collective sport. We together will accomplish something incredible. Collectively, we will push our limit. Collectively, we will face challenge, and collectively, we will grow. And for you to help other people will absolutely not reduce your experience. It's quite the opposite. It will enhance it. It's very similar to sharing a laugh or sharing a smile. Happiness is something that when you share with others, you're not actually reducing it, you're actually increasing it. It's very similar. By being a positive force and someone that has a positive impact on others in ultra running event, you will actually enjoy happiness of people around you and enjoying happiness for yourself. Happiness might not be the word sometimes when you're ultra running.
North Space.
If you look at races, very commonly, less than 100 runner. It's pretty rare to have races that are above 500. Typical is maybe 200, and that's a good size race. And what that means is that you're not just a drop in the ocean. You are part of what that race is. If there's just 50 runner, you're 2% of the running field. That's a very significant amount of people. You're not 1% out of 50,000. So the way you behave will have actually a huge impact.
Wait, I think I understand the symbolism of the mirror. The Walmart is us.
Duh.
You see, boys, if we like our small town charm more than the big corporate bullies, we all have to be willing to pay a little bit more. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Especially if you come maybe from a marathon background or something like that, it's just a little different. And there's nothing wrong with other events or other sports are played, but it's just a little different. And you could see that a little bit as just kind of a culture shock, maybe potentially. You go in a new country, and they do things differently, and that's what's beautiful about different culture, and is that we do things a little differently, and we can learn from each other. And very similarly, you come from different background, and ultra running, you might come in and be like, well, that's weird. That's really weird. And I think I can help here a little bit, kind of bridge the gap.
Harassment to you and me, sexual harassment, panda.
Hi, boys and girls.
Hi, sexual harassment panda.
Did you know that when one little panda pulls on another little panda's underwear, that makes me a sad panda?
This is freaking me out, dude.
I think there's a general mindset that you need to come in that is pretty important. And it's first, it's to realize the impact that you have on others, and therefore trying to be something positive. Try somehow to make someone else's day better. Maybe like, let's aim for like 3 people, and how can you make other people's day better? There's so many ways. You can make someone smile. You can say thank you at the aid station, and just these small gesture, they will pile up. If everyone does that, if everyone comes in and leaves the place a more positive environment, it's gonna strive. Everyone will strive. Everyone, again, we're pushing ourselves. We're doing something extremely challenging, and you can do it by yourself maybe, but doing it with others will actually help everyone raise up their game. Make me laugh. Make me laugh. That would be great. If you're a volunteer, you can be dressed up. Like, just little things like that will help. Of course, if you want to have a lot of positive karma point, if you can actually help someone finish, that is huge. And there's many ways to do that. As a runner, you can, if you see someone struggling, you can run with them. As a volunteer, it's just to think about things ahead of time. We had Kelly, I think, that reached out. So hi, Kelly. She was volunteering, and she was curious about, hey, what do people want as a runner when they come to an aid station? And I said a few things, but I think one of the things I said is that if it's an aid station at night, it could be a good idea to bring, for example, extra batteries and these sorts of things. Maybe it's more the aid station chief that should think about these things, but having extra batteries or extra headlamp, and hey, you might save someone's race. Most likely nobody will ask for battery, and most likely you just bring them back home. But if you have these batteries, you help someone, and if everyone does that, I think more people will finish, more people will have a positive experience, and the community will grow, and we will grow.
Hi, Panda Bear. We don't take kindly to your types in here.
Now, calm down, Skeeter. He ain't hurting nobody.
Now, if you pandas are from mountainous areas of China and Tibet, how come you eat bamboo, which is prone to grow only in drier, more arid regions?
Skeeter, I don't want no trouble now.
There are not so many big no-nos, but there are some big no-nos. And one of the big no-nos, don't be a dick or an asshole. Don't be that. Don't be that person that makes someone else's days worse. And I've seen, for example, at an aid station, a runner coming in, and I've seen bikers also do that, and being upset at the volunteer because the course marking is off. Hey, that, first of all, that person has nothing to do with the course marking. Second of all, that person is there on their free time to help you. You're being an absolute asshole. That is a big no-no. And if you cannot follow this rule of not being a dick, there's not many times I'm gonna say that in this video, but if you don't like it, then you can get the hell out. We don't want that. You're actually a negative contribution, and that's not okay. Look, race won't be perfect, and yes, it's frustrating. I had race, we had about a 2 5-mile segment in the desert in the middle of the day, and there was supposed to be a water station in between, and well, it was not there. And for those who have raced in the heat of the desert, doubling your distance like that without water is a big deal, and I would assume that some people have DNF'd because of that. Shouting at the volunteer at the next aid station is still not the right thing. You can write to the race organization, but still try not to be a dick. It's not a mistake that should happen, But venting off to someone is not the solution at all. It's ultra running. At the end of the day, you need to solve problem. Yes, it's a bad situation, and I don't think anyone was excited about it. But the volunteer has nothing to do with that. So you don't vent on them on something like that. Or if there's, there's something missing at the aid station, they don't have your flavor of goo gel or something. Again, don't be an asshole, okay? Otherwise,
Then you can get it.
If you want to make the most out of your experience, talk with people, be social. This is not a you against me thing. This is a meeting fantastic people. So when you're on the trail, and it's true that maybe the first 5, 10, 20 miles, you got so different pace that it's difficult, but eventually you will have your people. And you will know your people, trust me, because you see each other all the time. Well, talk with people, like, where are you from? All of these things, small talks. It's not awkward. It's actually somewhat expected a little bit, and it will make your experience much greater. There's nothing like the feeling of you finished and then you see someone who was struggling and you were helping them. Remember, you're supposed to help people. You help them reach that aid station, and then, hey, they make it in the golden hours, and that's fantastic. You wouldn't have that bonus kind of feeling if you didn't talk with people. And similarly, they want to meet you. You're a fantastic person by yourself. Like, talk with people, be social.
you don't have to talk with people. It's expected to be somewhat social, but you don't have to. And we all understand that, sometimes you'll be in your pain cave. Sometimes you need to focus on the task at hand. And some people it helps to talk, and some people it won't. And so if you're the person who doesn't want to talk, that's totally fine. You don't have to feel bad about that at all. And I think for the person who might be more vocal, understanding social cues here can help. There's a way to communicate it if someone is just kind of annoying you. You can say, hey, like, do you want to pass me? You should go ahead. Maybe at the aid station is a good time to split ways, and just try to be aware of these social cues.
Now, have you ever heard of a retreat called the Island of Misfit Mascots?
Well, yes, but that place is for loser mascots that make no sense.
Well, yes, they may be just what you're looking for.
What you're doing is amazing. That's great. And, I really celebrate that. But you need to be mindful of others doing that. So something that's critical is never belittle someone else's effort. Their first 5K, hey, they called it a 5K marathon, and you make fun of them. You're a jerk. Don't do that. Say congratulations. At the end of the day, what really matters is we're celebrating each other's achievement. A 5K is a big deal for that person. Maybe not for you, but it is for them. So congratulate them. It's awesome. Never belittle that, well, it's just 5K. Oh, that was an easy one. No, it's fantastic. Celebrate each other. If someone DNF, for example, never, ever, 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 no matter what, or where you are, or what time of day it is,
don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where or who you are with.
Do not make fun of someone who DNF. There's so much that goes behind a DNF, and the person is already feeling pretty bad. Cheer them up, help them out. Just don't be that jerk. It happens to all of us to have a DNF. Don't be that person.
Hey, if you don't like America, then you can get it.
We're in nature. This is maybe not the most nature there are, but it's trail running. You're on trail, you're in nature, and that's something that we try to preserve as much as possible. So be conscious of your impact on the environment in general. Doesn't mean to be crazy, but it's the principle of leave no trace, for example. If you have some trash, my first Ironman, personally, I was shocked, and road marathon, same thing, to see people take a glass of paper, throw it on the ground, another one, throw it on the That's really, don't do that, trail running. Like seriously, don't do that, okay? First of all, even just paper cup is kind of borderline a little bit. If you can, try to use a reusable cup in general, but don't trash things in general, expecting volunteers to take it after you, or just leave it there and whatever, It's important that you leave the trail in good condition afterwards, because these events, they need to apply for permit going through a national forest potentially, or some places, and it's easy for them to not renew the permit when the landlord or the landowner goes and there's, you know, poop everywhere on the side of the trail and toilet paper everywhere and trash everywhere. So that's number one. Like, don't do that. You want to be able to preserve this race, then make sure that the place where you've been racing is good afterwards, and then be conscious that there is an impact on the environment, and we're trying to preserve that and preserve nature in general.
And outside of racing, the community is not just the runners. The community is the crew, is the volunteers, the pacer, it's content creator. It's all of these things. It can be the spouse who then turns out to be the crew all the time. Thank you, Nora. I try to give back, and everyone can find ways to give back. If you have experience, you know, obviously I'm creating content. We're all busy. We all have busy life. I'm working full time. I really do it to help other, you know, it's a sport that I love. It's people that I love, and I really want you to be part of that and have a good experience. So if you have a lot of experience, yeah, you can just, you know, help others. You give advice, you can support them, crewing them, pacing them. That's a great way to give back. You can volunteer at race. If you're newer to the sport, yeah, volunteering is an easy way. And just be creative about how you can help people. Like, for example, for me, to help me, you know, it's pretty simple. Like, you can like this video, for example, comment. When we meet at a race, like, I love talking with people. It's a very growing experience to meet you. Also, just doing these little things, just coming and say hi, like, Simon, I saw your stuff, like, that's cool, like that's you're having a positive impact just by saying hi. You can share my stuff, like, all of these little things. They may feel like not much, but similar to when I mentioned, you know, if you share happiness, it's not costing you anything to share happiness. It's not like you're cutting it in half. You're actually growing it for everyone. And these little things might sound insignificant, but for the person on the receiving end, it's a huge difference.
This is who I married.
Huh?
Nothing.
What did you say?
I said, this is who I married.
Sometimes you're in the middle of the night, sometimes it's sketchy. If you see someone in trouble, we're not competing, okay? Like, yeah, there are a couple of people, but even for them, if you see someone in trouble, someone struggling, help them out. It's easy to just pass by and say, you okay, bro? And say, yeah, I'm okay, bro. Yeah, no. Just slow down, walk a little bit with them, just make sure they're okay. If they need anything, help them out. If they're in serious distress, find a solution, try to help them. You never leave a runner behind that is in trouble, because bad things, really bad things could happen. They could get lost, they could get in real trouble. So keep that in mind, support each other, help each other. At the end of the day, I never ever care if someone finished before me. So really slowing down a little bit to help someone, nobody cares, okay? So please help each other out there. Being safe is the most important thing. Don't brag. Bragging and telling what you've done, there's a fine line, and it's difficult, honestly. It's difficult sometimes. If I say, like, oh, I've done 2,900 miles, like, that's great. Like, I'm just describing a fact, but acting like you're better than other is just not true. You're not better than other because you've done something. Never brag about your accomplishment. One example that I love is Courtney DeWalter. We're 2023, by the way. It's been after now Western State and Hard Rock. And before that, she posted something that said, I'm racing both Western and Hard Rock this year. Both of them I failed to finish once. Hopefully I can finish this year. It's like, yeah, you also did finish them before and you won them. But she's not bragging about it. She does not need to brag. Your action speaks louder, and being humble is something that's very much appreciated in this community. Because if you're bragging too much, what you're indirectly saying is that you're better than someone else. And it goes back to belittling someone else's effort. So being humble will just serve you better in general. Doesn't mean you cannot say what you've done. And in fact, people, when you say what you've done, will be like, wow, this is fantastic. But there's a line that you shouldn't cross in terms of describing what you've done and acting like you're better than other people.
I think someone we often forget about are race organizer, and especially the mom and pop shop, the smaller race, especially now with everything that is happening in the world of ultra running. If you find I would encourage you to be involved in the local running community as much as possible. There's running group and these things. There's local race, smaller race sometimes. It can be fun to try them out, and there's nothing wrong with doing the big ones. there's an appeal to doing these bigger races. Now again, it's not 50,000, it's going to be what, like 300, 400,000, 300 or 400 runner. But it's cool also to try different things and see what fits you best. You know, that little race, local race that has 30 runner, it's a really fun experience. And when you find a race like that, you will realize that these race directors, similar to me doing this content, they're not exactly getting rich out of that. They do it because they love the sport. They do it for the community. And what you can do for them is, well, first, be a positive part of the race. That's always great. But if you find a race that you enjoy, share it with others. You know, there's some hidden gem out there that I mean, personally, for example, I raced, and it was not local for me, but I raced a Loup-Garou, which I think was a great race, honestly. And it's the kind of race that you go to the aid station, and it's like, you know, it's friend of the race director, it's the neighbor, it's the cousin. It feels like a family. And that's something you should try and experience. Not just, you know, you don't just have to run the big like UTMB, Leadville, and like these races are cool for other reason, obviously, but the mom and pop shop are interesting, and what you can do to help them. Well, first, you know, go talk with them, say thank you, but also just sharing it.
Duh.
You see, boys, if we like our small town charm more than the big corporate bullies, we all have to be willing to pay a little bit more.
Let's all go shop at Jim's Drug down the street.
All right, let's not make that mistake again. Yeah.
Now, I have a few that I kind of will group in category, and it's just, I guess, let's call it be aware of your surrounding, but it's a lot of very specific nitty-gritty detail. But for example, hiker up have the right of way. That's always true. I think the exception I make to that is if I see a pro runner that is leading the race coming downhill, like I will definitely get out of the way. But when you're a mid-hiker up have the right of way, you can always say, oh no, it's fine, and move aside. But by default, the one going up has the right of way. Similarly, be aware of your surrounding. Poles are great, but it's not great to be poked by them. So if you're at the starting line, do you really need them in town? You probably don't. Maybe put them on your pack. If not, get them folded. I have been poked so many times. There's really no reason for that. Be aware of what's going on. I've been tripped at an aid station, someone putting the stick between my leg while I was walking. Just be aware of these things, because you could hurt someone and ruin their day. Obviously, you don't want someone doing that when you're running on a single track. Someone might be coming behind you and try to pass. If you hear someone coming behind you, I think the polite thing to do is ask, hey, would you like to pass me? Or let me know when you want to pass me, and move aside when they want. If you're the person behind and you have absolutely no intention of passing them because they're going at a perfect pace, but you just want to be closer, that's totally cool. Just communicate. You can tell them like, hey bro, like, is it okay if I run with you? At night, you will use a headlamp. Your headlamp is in your face, or maybe your chest light. And some of them, honestly, like, it looks like you're trained and it's super bright. Don't put it in anyone's face. We all do these mistakes sometimes. It's okay if it happens. Just don't do it on purpose, or be a little aware of it. For example, if you're passing people, you could just put your hand so that it doesn't go in their face. At an aid station, you could turn them off. Just a little bit of awareness. It will happen anyway, but trying to minimize that is just the nice thing to do.
Yeah, but not in like a annoying way. No. Like not in like, he's just like, hello.
Rosby, did we scare you? Oh.
Oh no! He's like, no, it smells good.
Oh.
It smells good. It smells coke.
How are you doing?
Coke and gastric juice combination.
This is going to sound sort of high maintenance, but
If you have a golden retriever and you have a crew, they should bring the golden retriever, and you should have a stick, and I should be allowed to play with your dog. That's not yet a written rule, but it will eventually be a written rule. But for now, just so you know, just so you're aware, that's the expectation. Bring your golden retriever. It's pretty important, okay?
Here's the thing. Michael is doing something right, and in this economic climate, no method of success can be ignored.
hey, what say we order up some pasta?
What say we do?
And that's it, folks. These are the unwritten rule of ultra running, the etiquette and do's and don'ts of the high society of ultra running. And I'm not saying these things to scare you, and obviously sometimes, you know, these are kind of fudgeable a little bit, but it's just to quite the opposite, to help you understand how the community is, how you will be treated, and how you're kind of expected to behave in this very positive environment in general. You might have noticed I mentioned Courtney Dauwalter a few times, depending on the editing, and it's because of all the pros. I mean, there's quite a lot of pros that represent the community very well, but I think she represents it very well. She's a very positive person, always smiling, always joking. We seen her at Leadville. She was always cheering anyone. It's like, wait, do you know who you are? You're Courtney Dauwalter. Why are you saying good job when I just ran a marathon in 7 hours? This is ridiculous. But that's exactly how people are. Doesn't matter on the level. And it's always funny when you talk with people on the trail. You're talking with this dude and it's like, hey, have you done this one before? Do you like my pretend running? I'm really good at pretend running. Like, yeah, have you done this one before? Yeah, a couple of times. Oh, cool. Any tips for me? And then they will give you some tips. And then later you realize that, oh, like this dude has done 200, 100 miler before. Like, this is incredible. You meet some fantastic people, or you talk about their work and they will describe what they're doing. It's like, wow, like this is mind blowing. And there's such variety. Hopefully you will discover this community as you're entering the sport. It's not just 100 miler, just trail running in general. And by following these rules, people will actually like you, and that is good. So that's it, folks. I hope that was helpful. That was lighthearted enough. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up. Obviously, there will be more videos about the ultra running tips in general. So until next time.